I've been here before, but always hit the
Hi, have you ever wondered how the May riots in 1998 came about? If not, no worries, we'll be exploring that in this video. But before we go into that, let's look at the map of Indonesia first. Imagine the shape of Indonesia to be a glass tank full of water. I'll be using this water tank to represent Indonesia in the video. This model can make my presentation clearer and easier to understand. So, here we are, looking at this tank of clear water. I know that this doesn't look clear, but please bear with me.
But I feel like a storm is coming if I'm gonna make it through the
The Dutch gave the Chinese Indonesians economic monopolies and used them as middlemen to collect crops and taxes from the indigenous. This brought jealousy and resentment from the indigenous population, adding sand into the water. The sand here will represent the actual and potential conflicts in the society. The Chinese Indonesians were discriminated by the state. Chinese language and cultures were pretty much banned in Indonesia. Yet Suharto allied with a few Chinese Indonesians to develop the economy, giving them even more economic rights. Now, more sand was added into the water, yet the water is still clear, as you can see. The sand all sinks to the bottom. However, everything changes in 1997. Indonesia was negatively impacted by the financial crisis, which created a strong stirring motion in the water, making it extremely turbid.
Everything slowed down.
Everything slowed
Slowed down. Domestic market, everything slowed down. All project, all stopped, everything stopped.
Not only the businesses experienced hardship, the price of consumer goods also went up exponentially. As the economy broke down, people's jealousy of rich Indonesians also culminated, and most of the wealthy were Chinese Indonesians.
Waiting here in line.
There was a student demonstration, and after the police was sent to stabilize the situation, it backfired. 4 students were shot dead, and the demonstration escalated into riot. As what you saw in the opening act, during the riot, people felt angry, worried, and scared. Thousands of people were killed or badly hurt.
Fall down. I thought I could fly, so why did I drown? I never know why it's coming down, down, down.
The teachers and the parents afraid of the security of their family. So a lot of schools, they stop the activities. Sometimes even some office also stop their activities because they need to concern about their own safety. For example, if one of my friends have a Chinese looks, they will become target.
Because I live in a complex hotel estate, so there's a supermarket in the complex. I heard these people, they're negotiating with the. I said, okay, is it let me loot the supermarket, then I will leave everything else untouched.
How did you feel back
Very
then?
bad. To be simple, it's very bad. So we have to guard our home for the last 3 days.
Eventually, many Chinese Indonesians fled to other countries like Singapore and Malaysia, and the riots stopped after a few days. The sand sinks and the water was clear again. However, a crack formed at one side of the tank, a permanent one. In 1998, the terms pribumi and non-pribumi were eliminated. In 2000, the legislation forbidding the practice of Chinese culture was recalled. In 2002, Chinese New Year was declared a public holiday. All these helped to filter out some sand, yet the holes of the filters are still too large to stop the remaining sand from staying in the water. In the future, when the education system becomes more sophisticated and the standard of living rises, all the sand will eventually be filtered out. And when the sand is all gone, the water will remain clear regardless of external circumstances. However, it is also possible that the sand may come back into the water one day. The crack, therefore, will serve as a reminder that the riots were something that cannot be forgotten, and more importantly, cannot be repeated.